Hey guys, this is Sexy in Toronto City, your sexy podcast in Toronto. And I am Beatrice, your host. And I wanted to tell you that this episode is being sponsored by Cable, a communication contractor with 25 years of experience at making happen communication all over the world. And guys, I am so glad and so happy that she accepted my invitation and be here today in the show. Her name is Caroline Chénier. Oui, monsieur, madame. And she's an accredited master coach and certified super genius, super conscious coach. She's passionate about dealing with the issues, relationships to sex and intimacy. Who doesn't have that and do not need that? Come on, guys, let's be real here. Her mission is to help women create a loving, fulfilling relationship in an emotionally safe and comfortable environment. Is not that what we all wanted? Like, I want that so badly. I need that so badly. Her methods involving guiding her clients to understand how to improve intimacy, communication, and teach them how to emotionally self-heal. Oh my gosh, let's talk about self-healing here. This process then allows people who have soft relationship problems, who has not, to involve a whole new level of love and create a life that they will both love and enjoy. Wow, Caroline, is not that amazing? What a big responsibility do you have on your shoulders, girl?
Yeah, well, you know what? Most people don't realize they can actually heal themselves. And it's really, when you're going through an emotional trauma, it's recognizing what's going on and then actually dealing with it in an unemotional way. And you've got to it takes 8 weeks of my program to learn what's going on up here. 8 weeks. That's once a week, 8 weeks before I can actually do any work with them to help them understand themselves.
Yeah, I think the brain, it's already like a complicated part of us to understand the others, but I think if it's worse to understand ourselves. I think the most harder thing in life for me is to understand me. Why do I react this way? Why did I feel this way? And then it's strange because the feelings and the actions that I had when I was in my 20s, I will not have it today in my 40s. And then you think, why I haven't I born like just, with the, it's like the brain and the comportement. Comportement. Let's switch for French. The behavior that we have, it's impressed me. And when it goes through breakup, love, pain, this is the most hurtful feeling. People have difficulty to heal themselves, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, you see, is that it goes back further than that, because your life, your blueprint is created between being inside and up to about 5 years old, and whatever is said to you, whatever's in your environment, however your parents behaved with you and said things to you, about you and to you and about them, whatever you heard has shaped you. So whatever traumas, and it may not even be a trauma, it might be as far as an ice cream cone falling on the floor and you as a little child thinking, oh, I'm not allowed to have happiness or joy, right? Yeah. That carries you right the way through. There's a client that came to me last year who was a broken woman. She didn't want to have sex with her husband anymore, but she absolutely loved him. And she every time we met up, she was crying. And actual fact, he kicked her out while we were on the training. So It was pretty grim. But what was good is that she was able to actually cut off from him and able to concentrate on this work that we did together on the brain. And when we went into her trauma as to why she didn't want to have sex with him, nothing to do with sex, nothing to do with abuse or anything like that. You know what it was?
What?
She was at a fun fair as a little child with her parents. She remembers she was seeing the lights through the legs of her parents. So she was that small, she was 4.
Wow.
And she had 2 sisters much older than her, 10 years older. And there's this wonderful helter-skelter that she wanted to go on. But her sisters were allowed, but she wasn't allowed. And the reason is because she was too small. And they said to her, you can't go on there, you're too small. Now, a little 4-year-old doesn't have a mind like we have now and know that, oh yeah, of course, I can't go, I'm too small. So she immediately thought she wasn't good enough, that she wasn't worthy. And that carried her right through her life. And at first with her relationship, it was fine, but something triggered her and she started to feel that way. And we healed that. And now she's back with him again. And, she's focusing on the right thing, not the wrong thing. Because that's another thing, you see. People focus on the negative. See, your energy goes where your focus goes where energy goes. So if your energy goes towards, oh, I can't do it. Oh my God, I don't want to go. That's where your focus will go, and that's where your energy will go. Instead of you've got the power to do whatever you want. It depends if you want to go down the negative route or you want to go down the positive route.
Yeah, but like you see, like one thing that you're saying that's so amazing, and when we are in this teenager years, sometimes in some countries like South America, Europe too, you see more young girls having babies and they don't have the stability of a family because, it's just like a generation go through another generation and it create this pattern of unhealthy relationships growing up. And the words that we say to our children's, it matters so much, much. And that's why I wanted to bring this to the show and to make people realize how we have to be conscious to not continue these unhealthy patterns through the next generations and educate everybody and give tools for them that, like you said, she went to this journey because she needs to heal herself. And then once she did that and she understood, because, sometimes we don't understand why. Like, for example, me, it's been in 9 years, I'm single. And I'm always in my head, like, wow, it's time for me to try. I try. And then I have a tendency to always attract the same kind of person. So I didn't do my work yet. It's a journey, it's a process. I have to sit down with myself and say, okay, but the courage, sometimes it takes a lot of courage, but because in the process, you discover parts of your life that you don't want to bring back, which is traumas.
That's right. They say that you hit that the light is through the wound. Sufi poet said, your light is through the wound. You have to face your wound and you have to face it. And there's so many people there's so many people I want to help, but they don't want to face it. They just change the subject. They're just not interested. And at the end of the day, we are, as humans, we don't like the unknown. And stepping out into finding out why is too painful. And and what you were saying back then, just a few moments ago, was you attract the same man.
Yeah, we have the tendency to do that sometimes.
Yeah. And that is absolutely right. And it's because of your childhood. It's because of whatever happened in your childhood. But even me, you see, we all have a pattern. And my pattern was that I'd go out with somebody. As soon as they did something I didn't like, that was it, finished. Now I know what it was. My ego, your ego is there to protect you, to keep you safe, to stop you going into the unknown, right? And so when I was a child, I worked out through all the work I do, is that as a child, I was so loved by my mother, which was amazing, right? But as a small child, I felt suffocated to the point where if anybody came too close to me for love, I would feel suffocated and my ego would sabotage me. Something would happen. They'd say or do something and I think, oh my God, that's a no-go. No way I can do that. And now that I know that, I have now saved my marriage from disaster 9 times. Wow. Because I know this stuff going on in my head. Now I understand. And I explained this to my husband too. So I said to him, look, this is what happens, blah, blah. And then when it happened, luckily for me, hasn't happened in over a year now. So this is really good because clearly I'm dealing with it better. But when that last time it happened, I said to him, look, see, you've said or whatever, you've done that. That's it. I can't go now. Normally, I'd say that's it, finished. Absolutely, draw the line, no going back. And now he says, look. And he says to me, look, he talks me out of it. He says, okay, you know, we just have to let it pass. You just got to let it pass. Because you see, at the end of the day, when I say heal, you don't heal it completely. It's there, right?
Yeah,
You
people
can't.
people think that is like a magic switch, right? It's
Yeah.
gonna be like, it is not,
No.
because it's a lifetime of a pain, trauma. You hearing always the same words because your parents or your environment is still the same.
Exactly. So once you know how to deal with it, you recognize it, think, okay, this is what's happening here. And then you learn how to deal with it, then you're on your way. Well, I met the love of my life, and I've been able to keep the love of my life because
That's
I know
amazing.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, like I always say in relationship, because a pattern that I develop is that I go out and I go on dates and I talk, and suddenly the guy do something and I see like, okay, this is gonna be the same pattern. I just block and delete now, and then I don't even deal with it. Like I feel terrible because maybe I should say, hey, this is not gonna work, and sometimes I do.
That's your ego protecting you. That's your ego protecting you, making you walk away, like it would do, like it was doing for me.
But guess what? We need to be careful, because life has a funny way to show us sometimes certain things. I went on a date, the guy fell asleep, and we watching a movie. He fell asleep the whole night. It was a driving movie. He didn't pay for the tickets. He didn't
Oh no, that's
offer
a
to
waste
pay.
of space.
Yeah.
That is waste.
Yeah. So what happened? I block and delete. I didn't give the date of time. 3 years later, I met this guy again in a mutual common friends, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to face it, and I say, I'm sorry, I apologize, but he fell asleep, and I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to, go through this and then when we connected, we went again in a date, and he fell asleep again. So you know what? Did I did it right or wrong? Sometimes you can feel empathetic because you feel like, okay, I should have said to this person to not create a trauma in his own head, thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm going on dates and all the girls deleting me or blocking me, right? But doing him a favor to let him know what he's doing wrong. But in the same way, I like, what do you think about that?
See, for him, that's his ego protecting him, so he doesn't have a relationship. I mean, what is all that about? Falling asleep, right? Every single, you mustn't. It's not just you. I'm presuming it's other women as well, and that's his ego protecting him, so he doesn't get into a relationship. At the end of the day, we all have traumas from childhood, and what happens generally in a relationship, like even if it gets further than not falling asleep, is that he'll say something to you which triggers you, but he's got no idea. But it's triggered you. Maybe you've gone quiet. Most women go quiet, and they say, he says, "What's wrong?" She'll say, "You know what's wrong." It's like, no, he doesn't know what's wrong. And so then she says something that triggers him, and it all ends up in a big argument. All it is that we've been triggered by our own trauma, nothing to do with that person. And the day that you realize this, that both of you as a couple realize this, then you're already onto a winner.
Yeah.
And that's how, like here, this is how we deal with our marriage. Like he'll say something, I say, are you talking to me with love and from the heart? And he'll go, no. I'll say, okay, why don't you come back to me and talk to me when you are talking with love from the heart? Or he'll say, no, I'm not. And I'll say, well, go away then. Don't want to talk to you. But then recently he said some other thing, and I said to him, oh yeah, and we ended up not talking, which is the first time in 3 years. So he said, so I said, did you see what happened yesterday? Did you see how we're not talking? I said that's because he had a problem with me singing. See, I was singing, I'm in the choir, I was singing. He said, so he was putting the responsibility on me for making him like. He said, casse les oreilles, tu me casses les oreilles, right? That's literally breaking.
You annoys me, get out.
Yeah, he always. So I said to him, look, did you see how you were blaming me for your trauma, because he was forced to play the piano when he was a young boy,
Oh,
forced, literally forced. And so he always vowed never ever to play any instrument, do any singing, nothing at home, and because that would be his choice not to do it. So he's taken his childhood trauma to now not want me to stop me singing.
wow.
So when he realized that, he said, well, I won't say anything to you again. I said, no, that's wrong as well. I said, what you need to do is say, Caroline, I've got a problem here with you singing. It's nothing to do with you, not your fault. I know this is my fault, but I need help. What can I do to try and stop me getting angry like this? What can I need your help, I need coaching. And so I said, can you see how that's completely different? That's not blaming me. You don't get angry. You just ask me for help. How different is that? He goes, yeah, it's different.
Yeah, and that's making you feel guilty by doing something that you actually enjoy to do it. Because I feel a lot in the situations when it happens to me, I felt so bad. I felt so sad and guilty by doing something that actually makes me alive, you know?
Yeah, and the things you see is I said to him, okay, because he's been doing the choir for like 20 years. And when I moved here to Paris with him, he said, oh, do you want to come to the choir with me? And I said, oh, well, no, not really. I don't like singing requiems and Italian operas. What I like doing is singing pop songs in the car. He goes, oh, okay. 2 weeks later, he comes back and says, listen, one of the choirs in the area, they're going to sing Queen. Would you like to do that? I went, yeah, I like to sing Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, and the rest of it. So that's why I'm really getting into it singing. And so what I was coming to was that I said, so when he said, you're hurting my ears, I said to him, look, I'll stop. This was your choir, you do it, I'll stop. Oh, no, I don't want you to do that. And I said, well, what's got the most pain? Me singing? Well, it wasn't me singing, it was the conductor singing. Actually, it wasn't me. And he said, or is it me not going to the choir? He said, the biggest pain is you not going to the choir.
Oh.
So I said, okay. So we dealt with it, and we've dealt with it. But basically what I'm trying to say is our childhood trauma can really affect relationships. And any ladies looking now, or men watching this now, I hope they realize, oh yeah, okay, there might be some reason. And have a think. What do you think it could be? I mean, we have to go into meditations to try and work out the root of any issue like that. Meditation is the only way, when you're completely present, forgetting about everything. But even if you don't know the techniques that I teach, you just sit there and think back to childhood. What is it that could have caused this? And just become present. Just not, when you're into a game or you're watching a film, you don't think about anything else, do you? You've got to be in that kind of presence and just think about what it is. And hopefully your audience will say, yeah, okay, that is nothing to do with them. It's purely me. When you take responsibility for your behavior, life is a dream.
But you see, I think it's so hard for certain people to do that when they don't have the tools. I'm saying this because for a long time, when I was living back in Brazil still, you live in a very chaotic environment with a lot of depression, a lot of sad things happening. And, you start to believe that this is the life, like this is it. Because, I remember back then didn't have so much, the internet was not a thing yet. Or if it was not accessible for everybody. And I grew up thinking, well, this is life, and there's some good people out there and there's some shitty people, and I'm not going to deal with the shitty ones. And when there was a relationship that I started to develop, I didn't even try to look if what am I contributing to this argument and how am I dealing with this argument. It didn't happen that process. It was like, oh, it's her fault, that's it, get out of my way.
That's right. That's what happens to everybody, because we don't realize we're being controlled all the time by our traumas. It's something, unless you learn this stuff, you've got no idea, not taught it at school. Nobody tells you.
Yeah, and then we are talking earlier in this conversation about how important it is to talk to our children in a way that they don't feel unappreciated, and it doesn't feel that they are not worthy. If you would give 3 tips or 3 things that commonly we say to kids to the parents or people that wants to become parents that are going to listen to that to do not do. Like, what should not, 3 things that we should never say to kids so they don't interpret it and create traumas for them.
Well, I'm no child psychologist, but what I can say to you is that.
But like in the department, like for the, let me rephrase that, because we are talking about intimacy and sex on here, and sometimes I go like a movie in my head, and I didn't. I don't say it because when I was a little girl, I had an aunt, and I spent some times at her house playing with my cousins, and I remember I was probably 7 years old, around there, and I was going to shower, and she was like a very wealthy, and she has her bathroom all mirrored. And then I was getting undressed, and it was for the first time I can see myself really fully naked. So I was like looking my body, and I look my armpits, I'm looking, I'm exploring. And then she came in, smacked my bum, and she said, "Stop it doing that. What are you doing?" And I know, like, back then, I was like, this is so wrong. And I cried and I cried. And then I grew up really hiding myself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you mentioned the childhood there, because I was a Catholic. I was brought up as a Catholic, went to catechism at Sunday school, right? So I learned in my head, right, from my environment, that you don't talk, sex is taboo. Anybody who wants to have sex is actually a tart, is dirty.
Yeah, very gross.
And I understood in my little mind that it was you were not supposed to enjoy it. No one ever said that to me, but I assumed in my little head, like so many kids assume so much stuff, that I'm not supposed to enjoy it. And you know what, Beatrice, I released and allowed myself to enjoy it at 46 years old, because I suddenly woke up and realized, what am I doing? Why am I holding? I suddenly was aware that I was holding stuff back. And as soon as I let go of Beatrice, sorry, I can't swear. It's like electricity going through me. I just literally, it's like all my skin tingled like this. It was absolutely incredible. And from that moment onwards, I realized I've got to help other women to release themselves from the shackles of religion and from the programming that we've been.
That just men can have that, and just men are able. I grew up with 2 brothers and a bunch of cousins, and it was just like, I see them. I remember being a rebellion when I was young, and my brothers, Brazil's very hot and whatever, and they all shirt off and playing soccer. I was allowed to play soccer with them, but I was not allowed to take my shirt off. My mom and my dad run inside, and I was just, my dad came and again smack my bum.
No way.
So, you were not allowed to. And I didn't have a boobs. I had nothing. I was flat,
Yeah,
like, come on.
That would have traumatized you, see.
Oh my gosh, really, yes.
And you made you feel like you're not attractive enough to even show anything. That it's bad to show yourself. It's dirty, or whatever whatever's going through their minds, about this, which is there. And at the end of the day, that's their traumatic. That's what they were taught. So the problem is, it gets taught from generation to generation, until one, starts to wake up, and then they teach their children slightly differently.
Yeah. And then it's funny because, on another hand, though, that we talk about like a generation, my grandma, she was the most hilarious, funny. She passed away, and I loved her to death because I laughed so much with her. And I look at her, I'm like, Grandma. I was like, I don't know, 14 years old, and I had my first kiss, and I said, Grandma, can I tell you something? Because I cannot tell
her.
Yes. Wow. I could never, ever tell that to my dad. He's passed away too, but he was extremely severe, man. A guy little boys could not even get around me, like even like a child. like it was terrible. My mom, I could talk to her, I could talk to her, but she didn't have the most wise answer sometimes, that I was looking for. I was like, yeah, maybe that's not. Anyway, so
grandmother did.
yeah, and I was talking to my grandma, and she gave this funny answer I never gonna forget. But as she came to me and said, Grandma, I kiss him. Like, the boy that I love? Like, I love him so much. And I kissed him. And she's like, yeah, wow, that's nice. Did you enjoy it, the kiss? I'm upset. I'm upset. And I was crying. And she's like, what's happening? What's happening? I don't know. I think like his penis grew on his pants.
Amazing.
She holds me in her arms, laughing, and she looked me like pull my hair back and hold my two cheeks and said, "It's because he likes you. That's a good sign."
Oh, what an amazing grandmother! If only more people were like her, eh?
Yes, I will never forget that. Like, this is a really good memory that I have with her, and thanks to her, I start to feel that it was normal. Like, okay, so I can expect that from boys. Boys is gonna do that if I kiss them,
I remember, listen to this, you're gonna love this story. So I'm 7 years old, like you were 7 when you were in the bathroom, right? So I was 7 years old. In my school, they had a swimming pool. They just put the swimming pool there. And I was going around the edge like that, and with pools, there are jets of water coming out like that, don't they? I'm going along and I'm like, oh, this is really nice, man. Like, oh, and that. I thought, oh, gosh, I walk along a bit more and I think, really nice to go back again. And I'm like, wow. And I always kept going. What I didn't know at the time is I was having an orgasm.
Wow, that you are being stimulated there.
At 7 years old, right? But what I didn't know is what I didn't understand is that, you get lubricated, don't you? As soon as you'll have a sexy, kissing or whatever. I mean, obviously I didn't kiss then, but it was just this, I'd be soaking wet. Or when I kissed anybody, I'd get soaking wet down there. And I hated it. I was like, oh my God, I wouldn't let anybody go down there because I was so wet and I didn't
embarrassed, right?
It was literally, Niagara Falls. I'd be soaked. And I was like, oh my God, I can't let anybody touch me down there. This is all wet. Now, obviously, as I got older, I realized, men love that because
go on, drink from it.
Exactly, it's like, wow. So it's amazing, isn't it?
It's funny that you said that because I think women listen to this gonna relate us so much because it happens to me as well. Like, if my ex listen to this podcast, they're gonna say, yes, that's her. Because I am so embarrassed to let men go down there during sex. I'm like,
in any way, hands and face.
Yeah, like I feel so embarrassed. The hand is fine, but like they want to go.
You know what, Beatrice? That is exactly how I used to think. And I used to think, what do you like about going down there? Especially, I had a boyfriend, right? And I'd be working all day in trousers or something, and I'm like, how many wash down there? And he'd go, I don't care. Yeah. And to this day, I always still think, I obviously accept it all. That I really enjoy it, but I accept that is what men want to do, and I accepted it. But for long years and years, it's like, I'm very happy for you to go down there, but why do you want to go down there? And I feel like really like you're embarrassed. It's like,
my ex used to say, he used to say to me, like, because he want to go down there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't shower like you, right? I come from work, I'm busy, I'm sweaty. Let me go shower first. He's like, that's not fun. Like you breaking the moment, you break the, I want it and I accept. I say, yeah, but if I was a woman going towards another woman, I wanted her to shower. I want her to feel and taste fresh for me. He's like, but that's you. I am not asking you this, right?
You're assuming.
Hygiene is very important, I think, because trust me, I did have experience and very sour balls.
Sour balls? You mean a man's balls?
Yeah. like because they didn't shower, right?
Oh, yeah.
And men can do have that too. Let's not just talk about the woman here. Men can have that too. And the worst gets me like traumatized, and why I was always like, that's disgusting. I'm not gonna tell it anyways. It was because, you know, and this was like a random guy I got to date, and you know, we get in a level where intimacy start to get involved, and we go to the act. When he pull out his underwear, it have a brown stain.
Yeah. So
do you think I wanted to go down there? I said, how about we both have a shower now? Right? And then
I would say the same, you know. I mean, you have to be clean at the end of the day, especially down there.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then talking about traumas, like a lot of women also experience trauma. And I wanted to go like really deep to that because I talked to you about that a few weeks ago or a few days ago. I have a proposal, a very, I felt like compassionate about, you know, I felt empathy, because I feel there is a lot of men dying to try certain things in intimacy and sex, but they don't have the awareness that such a thing, you needed to develop a bigger attachment, intimacy with the person. You cannot just call. Can you imagine the situation? I call you because I went on a date with you 3 years ago, and I call and I'm like, hey, Carol, how are you, sexy?
Really? Oh my God, that is just too cheesy, isn't it?
Yeah, really, but listen to this. A man, I want to know what you say. How are you, sexy? I see that you're doing a podcast and it's about sex. And then, yes, I'm doing. Oh, I'm glad that you fall in that, and you know, I'm passionate about life, and I'm glad. I hope that you're gonna enjoy it. How's your family? Blah 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 blah. And then he's like, oh yeah, so I am curious to know what, like, do you know what a peg means? I was like, yeah, I think peg is like a guy that wants pay girls. Is that what it is to have sex? Like, is that kind of fantasy or something? He's like, no, peg is like a man that wants to be have anal sex, like fucking yes, right? And my eyes go like big like this. And he was in a speaker, and my mom was sitting beside me. And I was
no. Oh my God,
it was like, I looked to my mom, and my mom, like, she doesn't understand, thank gosh.
Thank God.
Too much English, but she was like seeing my face. So this is too, like, if you don't have the proper tools and direction, it can be traumatizing for somebody. This young man wants to have anal sex. He decided that he wants to. And if somebody wants to have anal sex, what would you say to them? How to do it, where to go, and how to initiate that? Like, because he was saying to me that he was going towards places where you pay for somebody to do that to him. And then he said, I don't want to do that. And then he said, well, we dated, you know, we had a connection. I said, yeah, not really, you know, like 3 years past, you call me asking me to peg you. Come on, like, this is no connection here.
No, not so.
So what would you say for a young male or male in general that wants to have this experience, how they would have deal with it, like where to go, or
sex party or sex club is where you should go.
Sex club?
Yeah, because when you go to a sex club or a sex party, you have to be invited to a sex party, but in a sex club, that's what you're going for. You're going for sex. However it comes, you go for sex. And if the person doesn't want to do it, because what's great about the club is that if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. You know, you just say like that and the person understands. But you'll be lucky if you find somebody who wants to have a game. You know, you take your strap on with you and you go and have sex with somebody that way. I mean, if you know, paying for it is one thing, but having fun and enjoying it with another person is a different thing. You know, prostitute is one thing, but a party is different. And so I would suggest is going to a club or a sex party to do that kind of thing. Yeah.
But
Or if you can find somebody who wants to do it, like he had to go with you. But to be honest, it's not, you know, he's not spoken to in a long, long time. It has to be somebody who's a fuck buddy, really.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not somebody he hasn't spoken to in a long, long
Right.
time. It's not right.
Out of nowhere, just
No. So he's just trying. He's somebody who wants to see. It's totally understandable. Somebody wants to experiment. This is what I did over a 15-year period. I did everything so that I have an opinion on everything. One thing I want to do was try out sex parties and sex club. So I did it. I had threesomes. I had fivesomes. I had tensomes. You know, it was all there. And now I can quite happily say I've got an opinion on all of it.
I got on my list here, Carol.
Yeah. So listen, you know, he's just a person that wants to experiment and be curious. There's nothing wrong with being curious, but he doesn't know where to go. He's obviously somebody that hasn't got a clue how to, you know, where to go. There are websites, there are clubs. He just needs to look it up. But obviously, he didn't think about doing that. But
yeah,
that's you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I was curious. I was like him and I was curious, but I didn't go and ask anybody. I was in the right circles, you know.
yeah, that I think that's the important thing. And if I wanted to leave a message and a tip, and I said to him, is to, you know, you are young, try to find somebody that you really enjoy and like the company, because he was saying that he didn't like, he's like, oh, I'm looking for, you know, paying places or whatever, but I wanted to really have a connection with the person. I say, well, go on a website where a dating app, try to find a girl, invest in that relationship, build the relationship, build in a safe place where you can propose to her. And early on in the relationship, so you both don't lose too much time, tell her what you want and let it very clear that you have a very open-minded, that you want to experience many things in sex, and mention a little bit what you want so you don't lose your time and don't like traumatize other people.
If he wants a relationship, you're absolutely right. But he has to find, like on these dating apps, he has to have it in his profile.
Yeah.
I've got fetish. You know, I want to try everything. As long as he says that, if he's looking for a connection with somebody and wants somebody to regularly be with him and do that, then he has to be clear about it. But it takes time. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. He's finding someone and getting to know them, and then, you know, but if he wants to do it quickly and without a connection, just at the end of the day, sex is an act. You know, with women, it's more of an emotional thing. But for a man, you know, so if he just went off to a sex club, that would solve that problem. He would have done it and then think, do I like it or not? Maybe I do. It's fun. I know somebody whose wife bought him a strap on, you know. So, you know, and he does it. He doesn't actually get on that well with his wife. I mean, you know, but sexually, they do have it quite often.
And that's one of the questions that I have here for you about that subject, is that misconceptions that people has about anal sex is that only a male that has a penis, right? That's somebody that has a penis that is doing the pegging or the penetration. For people that's not familiar with the pegging word, this means penetration, is only the person with penetrating that will have the orgasm. In this case, she used the strap-on. People think, oh, a woman just with the strap-on, she will not orgasm. That is a myth, correct?
Yeah, because it's not stimulating the parts that she needs to be stimulated to get an orgasm. But she might be really turned on by the fact that he's being fucked up the arse and he's not gay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It could be a turn on for her doing that. But she won't necessarily get, you know, an actual orgasm with that.
So, and then like for some people that wants to do that, some people think, like, for example, I'm going to tell a story that happens to me, and I was traumatized by that, because we talk about like trauma and stuff. My first sex partner in my life, we were like rabbits. We were always doing it, and it was passionate, and it was amazing. And I used to be very lubricating, like you say, like Niagara Falls. And by he's doing the penetration on the vagina, he, this part where he's pulling out, it went through the ass.
Oh, right.
Like directly. I cried, I screamed. It was the most painful.
You're not prepared for it. Yeah, if you're not prepared for it, it does hurt.
Yeah. And it was so painful. It was like traumatizing. And I was crying. So since then, I never wanted to really do it again. Yeah. Right? Because I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna hurt. Oh my gosh, this is, and I always heard, like, if you're gonna try anal sex, you have to have this called aim, like the shower, the punch that you put inside, you go and you take it off, makes you go to the bathroom to your fecal.
An enema.
Yeah.
Oh, an enema. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need to do that before or no? Because a lot of people has like afraid of, like, am I going to, get it like poop on my partner?
No. I mean, obviously, if you need to go before, you should do it. But generally, it really doesn't affect anything at all. It doesn't come out. And but you have to be prepared for it, and you have to put your, I mean, everybody's different. Obviously, every single person on this planet is different, but having the hips up a little bit helps, and you have to be prepared for it. It's a bit like it's the opposite thing that would normally happen. Normally, you'd want to poo, and when something's going the wrong way, it's like something big is up there, and you want to just get rid of it. It's a bit like having a baby. I've not had a baby, but I know it's the same thing. Friends have said to me, it's like. Well, have you had children? You have, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like doing a big poo. Yeah, I mean, it's just something. Now, my ex-husband, he tried to do that. He just couldn't get it in. But this Muslim boyfriend I had, he talked me through it. And in actual fact, it is very, very pleasurable. Once you get past a certain point,
really?
And you have to brace yourself. Once you get past that bit, it's really pleasurable, because it's not a G spot there for us, but made me squirt. It made me squirt every single time.
So the squirting part, is that a myth? Because I never had that kind of orgasm.
Yeah. It's not a myth.
No, because I talked to my mom, like, we are talking about sex a lot lately, and I was like, I'm wondering, because I see, like, in the porn, those women that they squirt like crazy. My mom, oh, come on, that's not real. This is,
it is real.
And then she said that they put, my mom said, I wanted to, I get like this in my head, and I wanted to know, because I never had that either. And she said that she went to the web and tried to investigate it, if that's real or not. And she said that they put a little bag of water colored whatever in the vagina, and then when they pop with the muscles and then do that squirt. But
yes, probably for the porn films. Yeah, I understand that from the porn films.
Yeah.
But it's called female ejaculation. She looks up female ejaculation, she'll find us. I mean, it's just called squirting for short, a slang name, but it's called female ejaculation.
So, ladies and gentlemen, skirting is real a thing. Woman can actually really do it.
Yeah.
I have a knot, and I wanted to challenge.
Okay, so look, the way to do it, get your man. Now, it happened to me at a sex party, and it never happened to me before. So I was about 46 before I ever experienced it. What a shame!
Wow. Were you like, wow, what the heck is going on here with me? Oh my gosh.
Because it was just all soaking wet, and I was like, wow. No, because of the, it's stimulating the G spot inside that can do that. You see, it's just stimulation inside that does it. And then another time, I actually made a woman squirt. I couldn't believe it. She goes to me, "Oh my God, that's the first time any woman has ever made me squirt." And I was like, wow. And I was like, that's the first time I'd ever done anything like that. So I was amazed. But yeah, it is a real thing, and it is a little bit of we. It's actually we, a little bit of we.
So for a woman like me that never had that, and I believe skirting is something that a lot of women has not experienced yet, what would you suggest? Kind of, there's exercise for it. There is like a way for us to get there.
Yeah. So if you get what for me is very violently inside. So the man getting his two fingers on the G spot and being very violent with it, it just sends you like that, you know? And that's it. It just comes like that. Just
so first, ladies, you have to discover where your G spot is.
But you, yeah, so G spot, yeah. But I mean, if you follow me on TikTok, I've started doing the erogenous zone. So I start from the top, the scalp, down to the ears. I've done the scalp, the ears, the lips, and mouth and tongue, and the neck so far. And I'm going to be doing the rest. So as time goes by,
So what is that? The scalp and the what is that? Like, I'm losing
erogenous zones. So these are the extra sensitive parts of your body that makes you feel sexy.
Really? Like the ear?
Yeah, there are 50.
Scalp?
Yeah.
The neck?
Yeah, there's a scalp, the ears. Have you not ever been kissed on your ears?
Yeah.
Ever had tongue go down your ears? You know how sensitive that is. It's like, oh, it's like, if a dog even comes up to you and starts sniffing, that's really that's really like, ooh, you know. But yeah, you've got the wrists, you've got the elbows here, armpits as well, and your boobs, your nipples, your bottom, actually the bottom as well. But that's the, you know, inside the anus as well. There's 3 areas with your actual vagina. There's the A spot, the G spot, and there's the inside the vulva, and then you've got back of the knees. Then there's also the men's G spot and stuff like that. Men's G spot's in the bottom. Wow. The men's G spot is up there.
A lot of men, like a lot of men, sometimes, you know, I was in a phase at some point in my life that I wanted to kind of explore my partner full body, and I would say I wanted to finger you, like I wanted to you know, try to see how that feels for you, because I think for a woman, when they think that, it's like, you being penetrating me and that's feel amazing, I wanted to penetrate you somehow to make you feel that too, right? And I have this boyfriend of mine going crazy, like you, like, I prefer die. And then somebody like, I want to like a ball in my head if somebody's going to do that. Like, why do you think man reacts like that?
Because they think it's a gay thing. That's why they think it's only gays that if you're gay, you like that. No, it's just that gays, that's the, you know, when you're homosexual, that's the, they know, see, they know their bodies better. They know that the G spot's down there and it's amazing. I remember there was a young man that I met when I was going through my sexual peak. And I said to him, look, just relax. I'm just going to put my finger up there. I mean, it could be in a different place. It's like, right, did it up there. And he goes, oh my God. I said, see, this is great. Anyway, the next week, he rang me up and said, Caroline, I put my own finger up there. He said, it was amazing. Then the following week, I bought a toy especially to stimulate my G-spot. And that boy was only 25, something like that. So he now knows for the rest of his life where his G-spot is and how it can be. But the other thing is, see, Muslim people, people who just don't want anything to do with the backside are missing out on so much pleasure.
Absolutely.
It's a shame.
I need to get over my trauma and get over, like, because, you know, I'm doing like abstinencing period of my life. It's now 7 months. I'm you know, I decided not to have sex for that period. To heal myself, to connect more with myself, to figure it out what's going on. And there's nothing wrong if you decided to do that. It's truly like,
no, there isn't. It's your choice.
Yeah. And I still masturbating because I think like,
did you have a toy? Have you bought a toy?
Yeah.
A masturbator toy?
Yeah.
All right. The vibrator.
Yeah.
And does it look like a cock, or is it just like a dildo? I mean, is it?
Yeah, no, it's just like he's not even like a big thing. It's just a tiny thing that, you know, vibrates and
it works well, does it?
It works well. Like, honestly, I think for me, I don't even need like a vibrator to have the penetration, maybe, because or should explore that. I should be more open and explore that. to stimulate my G-spot and actually have a skirt. I should do that. That's one.
Try it.
Yeah.
Try it. I've just bought a new one to review on TikTok, which I did, and it has air and it pushes air. And you honestly guarantee, like, put it on there. It's like,
really
like that. Yeah.
Wow. So the air is like when you like take it off, it's not like your vagina like sound like you're like farting from your vagina. No.
Just as a motor, but like that.
I think I need one of those.
Yeah, I just bought it because my assistant said to me, right, Caroline, you need to do sex toys. So I thought, yeah, I can do that. I had loads of sex toys. So I go online just to have a look at what the latest ones are. And they're all different. They're all losing air. And I'm like, what? So anyway, I thought, okay, so I did my review. I did what I think about sex toys, about a story about my mum finding my sex toy, and what I used to go and do shopping. I used to go and put these little things up me to go shopping. I said, but I haven't got these latest ones. So I told my audience, I'm going to get one and I'm going to review it and tell you the result, which is what I did.
I should do that because you know what? I'm still, like, we're talking about trauma today and all of that. And I still have a lot of trauma of the things that growing up, people saying to me to do, not to do. And I remember when I felt the safest in a long-term relationship, I used to say to my ex, oh, please, like, come on, like, let's say we went to a vacation and I said to him, oh, like, listen, in this vacation, we're going to go out tonight. I'm not going to wear an underwear and we're going to have a sex like in the beach somewhere. And he was like, he comes from a very conservative family. And he was like, no, I'm crazy. I'm not going to do that.
See, like, where's the sense of adventure? Yeah. That was brilliant. What you reminded what I used to do is I used to wear this long flowy skirt, and we'd go to a bar. Me and this ex-boyfriend go to the bar, and we would sit opposite each other. And I put my legs around his legs with a skirt, and he would just go and finger me at the bar, and I had to pretend that nothing was going on. They were just talking at the bar. It was hilarious. Loved it.
Yeah,
it was really good.
I feel like, I missed out so much just because I think now generation is a little bit less. The religion is not so much on influencing you what to do and not to do. So most of my partners also come with this background of conservative and,
yeah. It's the religion really as well. I think it's the religion that makes it like a dirty thing when it's the most natural thing in the world.
Yeah. I had a partner once that he said to me, I said, why don't you do those things to me? Like, just grab me, like, passionate, and then just do it, like, smack my ass, like, do something, like, just take me. And he will like, oh, this is not a thing that I do with my woman. Right? Like, wow. So that's why some men think that they should pay a girl to do everything they think and they want, their fantasy, or sometimes it's just because they're taking them a little bit harder or a little bit rough, right?
Yeah. But you know what the answer is, Beatrice, for that?
Tell me.
All these young men, they're in their sexual peak when they're young, like in their 20s, right? Is go with an older woman. She's not interested in commitment. She's not interested. She's just in her sexual peak. See, they're both at the sexual peak at the same time. He's in his 20s. She's in her late 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s. I was still in it in my 50s, early 50s. And so he wants to learn. She wants to play. The difference is that a woman who's older knows what she's doing. She knows what she wants. She's confident, and they love that. Plus, she's not going to be too frightened to do anything. A young woman the same age as the boy, she doesn't want it. She's like, oh, especially if she's had an upbringing like we have, women, we can't uncover ourselves, feeling sexy is dirty. It's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So all the young men I was with, oh my goodness.
Tell me.
Absolutely loved it. Because I wasn't shy. I did it all. They go, oh, would you do this? I go, yeah, we'll do that. Let's do it. And that's what they want, you see. And so when they've got two goals when they're in their, I would say it starts from about, I don't know, 15, 16, right through till about, I don't know, 35. They have their sexual peak. They've got two goals, right? I mean, I'm talking around 80%. This is just my experiences, so it's not statistics I've gathered. In my mind.
No, but I can't indulge you on that. Yeah, because that
about 80% of men, in my experience, they have only two goals. One is to find out everything they can about the bedroom, and two, their career, that they're really hell-bent on. They're focused on no time for girlfriend, no time for marriage. And so when we're older, when we're in our 40s and 50s, when we're going through our sexual peak, we might have a really boring partner. Maybe they've got no energy. Maybe they've got no sense of adventure. You've got your sexual peak. You just want to go crazy. I remember I had 3 men in one day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I just wanted sex so much. And who were they? They were like 25, 27, 28, 30, no older than 35 for me. Thank you very much. And they were nice and muscly. They had loads of energy, and we'd go at it like flipping animals.
But they don't come out like when they're orgasm. They not come like too fast, because that's what we think.
Oh, some do. Some do. Oh my goodness, there's one. He literally just came near me. Didn't even touch me. He was like,
yeah. I talk about that on my podcast on Thursday. The experience I had with this man that I'm telling Caroline, I just kissed him. Like I just kissed, and he would go like, oh, and I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? Oh. And then
how old is he, by any chance? How old is he?
Oh my gosh, I think back then he should be like 25, 26. Yeah.
See, it happens also to the older men, like those that have been in a relationship, like a dead-end relationship for a long time, where there's no sex going on. Oh my God, there's one man. He wanted to go out with me, so I went out with him. He was in a marriage that was finishing. I mean, I wasn't going to stay with him, but and he was like a puppy dog. He was like desperate. Now that is really unattractive. So it can go at any age, really. If you're really young, it's because you're not used to it and it's all new. But when you're older and you're in a relationship where it's not going anywhere and you're not being touched or anything, then again, it can really make you come.
Yeah, very quickly.
Crazy. And the thing is, when they come too quickly, you can't do anything about it. Oh my God, there's one.
Tell me.
I nearly said to him, where is it? It was a load of bush, and I'm not joking. The end was like that. Like his cock was as long.
Wow. As clitoris. It was like a fat clitoris.
Yes, and I didn't say anything, obviously, because otherwise it would have made him feel very bad. But honestly, to say, and then when we did do it eventually, it was like erect. It was like, well, probably that finger. Honestly.
Wow.
And he goes, it's all right, is it? I went, yeah. Didn't stay with him very long. Not because of that, but because, it just wasn't going to work out. But at the end of the day.
Do like, I had a partner like that he was not very, how can I say, gifted, right? By nature.
That's
he
how
was not gifted by nature. A little bit bigger than that you say. Maybe let's say like my pencil,
right,
like
long and thin.
Yeah, maybe like my finger kind of thing.
That's big compared to this bloke.
Yeah, but for me, because I come from Brazil, I always see like I never knew that there is two type of penis: the shower and the
growers.
The grower,
the showers, right? And the growers,
yeah. So for you ladies that doesn't know what that is, the shower is the one that looks like that he's always like in an erection. Like you look at that like
he's hung like a donkey. It's already big.
Yeah, he's always like bending there, ready for action. Just a little bit like flow blood there, and then whoop, And then the grower, he's more shy. He's like a turtle. He's like a turtle.
It's exactly like a turtle. That's right.
Yeah, like a turtle.
She's goes whoop,
and then she's gone. And So he was like that. And I used to kind of like have a crisis, crying and stuff because, you know, I want to so bad have like this amazing orgasm. But he was the one who actually able to touch my G-spot. I feel like a man with a too big. It hurts my uterus.
Yeah, it does. It hurts. I tell you what it does. It touches your ovaries. It bangs on the ovaries. That really hurts. But you know, it's bananas. When it's shaped like a banana, it's going to get the G spot a lot better because it's going upwards.
So my mom
Rubbing
was
like
telling me
that.
that, like, because I was telling my mom, like, I don't like penises that has like they're curved like this. Like it feels like they're broke. You
Yeah.
know, they feel like they're pointed to the left or they point to the right.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you penetrate, like it doesn't feel good for me. When they
Yeah.
are like straight up, then it feels better. Then there are ones that is like going up
Now,
like
when they're
that.
bananas, yeah,
Yeah,
see, that gets the G spot as they're going in and out like
yeah,
that. It gets the G spot because that's like a globule. That's underneath there. It's like underneath your pubic bone. So that's like a. I don't know if you have you ever felt it. Have you ever gone inside and felt it? It's like
yeah,
a
yeah,
big lump of gristle. Yeah.
yeah.
So when that gets rubbed, and that's what will make you squirt. You see, if you get a man to rub that really hard, it'll make you squirt, and that's how you get your G your orgasm as well. But you can also get an orgasm from right at the back with the A spot, which is just behind the G spot. That's also a good place. That's why sometimes when people go hard in the back, you know, obviously if it's too big, it does hurt, but that's why deep penetration is really good because it gets the A spot.
Yeah, I feel like I prefer like just a medium size kind of thing, and like I'm not into like men with the huge dicks and stuff like
No, and
that.
men think that they need to be big. They well,
No,
they're good.
they
They're good
needed to know
size.
the autonomy, like the body. They need to know, and I think like explore, right? That's more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I admire you for being able to be so open and tell like all of your experience and not be ashamed, like, and that's why I wanted to do this podcast, to tell women out there, youngers that is discovering themselves, or women that they're already like on our age gap and they don't have a clue yet about their bodies. My mom,
Yeah.
she's 60s and she didn't know what like the skirt is a real thing. She never experienced one, and I feel that's so
Oh,
sad.
it is sad. It is. You're right. It's very sad. But it's never too late.
Never, never too
Never
late.
too late.
And Caroline, where like so you're in France, right? You're based in
Yep.
France. And for people that wants to contact you and work with you, get it through their sexual traumas or even like relationships problems, people like me, that is stuck up and say, I wanted to work with you, where do they find you?
Okay, there's several places. You can go to sexplosionpodcast.com and there you can there's a whole load of bonuses that I've got there. But I'm also on Facebook, Caroline Chénier Intimacy Coach. I'm also on Instagram, and that's my full name, Caroline Marie-France Chénier, all one word. That's in Instagram. LinkedIn is my business name, Caroline Chénier Coaching, Caroline Chénier on its own. And then of course in TikTok, I'm called Caroline Sexplosion. So at Caroline Sexplosion, where I am I say the truth. I am me, like I am here. Because I can't be like that on Facebook, can't be like that on Instagram or LinkedIn, but I can in TikTok. So really the most authentic place for me is TikTok. But also there's this here, Explosion Podcast on Spotify, and it's with an exclamation mark on the end. So if you put in Sexplosion with an exclamation mark, mine is the only podcast that's got that name with an exclamation mark, and you can spot it by all the color that you can see. It's exactly like that. So yeah, and I'd be
Amazing.
very happy to speak to any ladies that want to talk to me about their truth, about their liberation from the shackles of religion, and just to liberate themselves, really.
Yeah, I am on that journey as well, and I'm so grateful that you allow us and me to share and have you here, to women that say, hey, I was like that too. I was grew up and believe in church what they dictate us to be. One thing that Elon Musk says is that we are a world where our voices is shut. We are not able to be our true selves. And you already said that, like, some platforms doesn't allow you to be your true self. It doesn't allow, like, if you want to curse or if you want to like just say about sex and the most ways, they don't allow, they limitate you, like you have to fit in like in their forms, and I feel that is so sad. I feel that's so sad because we're individuals and we have our own life stories. We come from different cultures, different grow up backgrounds, and the most beautiful thing is to be released and just, if you want to fucking yes, go fucking yes. If you want to have threesomes, go have a threesome.
Exactly. You've got to have that experience at the end of the day. But the biggest thing that we're taught not to do is to communicate and talk about it. It's a taboo subject. And that's what we have to do. We have to say to our partners, I want you to do this to me. I want to feel this. I want to experiment. I want to do this. And the same for the males. I mean, men are much better at saying what they want, although you did have that bloke that wouldn't do anything. So, communication is the biggest thing. So just do what you want. I would say, do what you want, love yourself, and understand what's going on upstairs. And that's it. As long as you can love yourself and understand and be aware of what's going on, then your life is already much better.
And let's be like, just let something clear there for the audience, is to also let them know that, like, for example, you don't work just with couples. You don't work just like, you work with a woman that is are single as well, that they want to heal their trauma.
And I work with men and women.
Yeah. And they wanted to discover, like, they wanted to discover prepare themselves. Like, for example, somebody like me that wants to discover themselves and know who they really truly are, so they can attract what they want, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And with my program, it's 8 weeks of understanding that first, and then the next few weeks is all about you. It's about what is it that you want in your life, and what is it that's holding you back, and then we go delve deep down into your psyche to find out what that was, and then help you deal with it.
I'm in this craving of sexual intimacy, 7 months, 6 months, 7 months. So what are you saying? Like, what do you want? My body goes.
Look, listen, if once I realized what was going on, I was off. My friends were actually worried about me because I was just on I was on this sex.
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? Because you are always like being judged. That's the part. So
don't listen to anyone. I was on this sexual train going 100 miles an hour. I couldn't get off this flipping train. I could not get off the bloody thing. And I was going, come on, let me get off. Because I was just on this sexual adventure. And it was fantastic, I have to say. Now I'm in the menopause. I'm the opposite way now. I'm the opposite. I'm not interested in it, but I'm lucky because my partner doesn't either. The two of us don't even think about it, but when we're on holiday, when we're both relaxed, that's when it happens. But you see, that's what suits us. I've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt. He's not done that. He's had that religious upbringing where it's not, it's bad, it's not, and so he's been conditioned that way. So when I was trying loads of stuff out on him, it's like, like that, like really naughty, but he enjoyed it. But he actually is very much like, what do you want? What I want to do. I said, well, what do you want? He said, well, I like everything you do. So, yeah.
But it's so hard for a woman. I feel like I have to do and say that he has some amazing points there, because if I would have said that for a specific man that I'm thinking right now, that, I did a threesomes, I like anal sex, I like to be with a woman and whatever, I think man would have judged me. That's what I like.
No, but hang on, you wouldn't just come out and talk like that, would you?
No.
You wouldn't just come out with
no.
Something that, I mean, my ex-husband doesn't know everything. He knows that I've been to sex parties. He knows what I talk about. He knows I talk about different shaped willies on my TikTok. He knows everything. There are some things that he doesn't know, but he doesn't ask me questions. And so, you know, it's up to you. You don't have to lie, but if you don't want anyone to know that stuff, that's your business. You don't have to tell anyone.
Yeah, and that's what I think, like, it's important is to get in that safety space.
Yeah.
Comfortable and loving, and know that, because you know there's a experience that I had that with a partner, that I told a trauma that I had in my childhood, and that always was being used to against me afterwards. Like we had in a fight where, oh, because that happened to you, because this is done, because you know, always.
It's unfair. That's very unfair to do that.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of women has that issue, and you can help them with that, right? You can help women navigate that.
Absolutely. And the thing is as well is you have to be specific about who you want in your life. Yes, you've got that problem with attracting the right person, but that's something we can fix up. When we say fix, you can deal with up there. But you've got to be very specific about what you want. It's like going to a restaurant. If you went to a restaurant, you said to the waiter, you said, I want food. He'll just go into the kitchen and just get whatever is in the kitchen and give you food, right? What you need to say is, I want gluten-free, I want dairy-free, I want blah, blah, blah. He'll go in the kitchen and get you exactly what you want. That's how the universe works. If you say exactly what you want, you will get what you want. That's exactly what I got here. Let me show you something. Right, look here, right? In September 2020, once I'd met my husband, who's just come in here, you probably heard the noise, and I had to go and empty my house in London to rent it, and I found my scrapbook, which is what I do with my customers, is, you know, a vision board about how you want your life to be. But I had this. See that list there?
Yeah,
right. 25 things. There's my ideal man at the top there. Oh God, my ideal man there, right?
Yeah.
All that. I read it, right? My criteria: bilingual, kind, funny, generous, loving but not soppy, sophisticated, impeccable table manners, tall, very handsome, muscly, fit, clever, knowledgeable, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what? When I read that list, he's exactly what's on that list. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I was doing that. I had a list as well, and then I think my mom saw it, and then she see that it's like, you have 25. I had like 15 things, and she said, that's too much asking.
It's right. Not. See, that's the mindset she's got. You can't have what you want, is what she's saying. You can, absolutely. But there are 3 ingredients here. 1 is the list, right? Got to know what you want. 2, love yourself, right? If you don't love yourself, no one else is going to do it for you, right? Why should anyone else love you? And 3, find out what's happening. What is sabotaging you in your relationships? Why isn't it you're not able to get the love of your life?
Yeah.
When you suss those 3 things, then you'll be as happy as me.
You know, when people say to women, you need to love yourself, or to man, you need to love yourself, because there is men out there as well that really suffer of a lack of self-esteem.
Self-worth.
Yeah. And when people say to us, you need to love yourself, in my head I go like, come on, I love myself. I'm funny. I take care of myself. I shower, I clean up my teeth, my hygiene, you know, my appearance. I love myself. But it's to really also forgiving and be able to not be so harsh. And that's what I have the most difficulty, is to forgive myself for some mistakes I did down the road and choices I made. And that's what is the love comes, the forgiveness, you know, like if you're able to forgive, then I think you get closer to the love yourself.
Absolutely right. You're spot on. You have to forgive in all different, not even just forgive things that you've done. It's forgive other people too. Yeah. You know, you've got to forgive everything. But with forgiveness. It's also like giving yourself permission to do stuff. It's like, because you see, everything's unconscious. So you're unconsciously tearing yourself apart in your head. You don't even realize it. So when you realize what you're saying, then you think, okay, yeah. My friend, I mean, she's always putting herself down. I'm going, what are you? Do you realize what you're saying to yourself? Oh, but I don't matter. Yes, you do matter. You mustn't say those things to yourself, because whatever messages goes into your subconscious mind, your subconscious, your subconscious makes it happen.
True.
Yeah.
True. I believe in that. Before I didn't. I hear people say, "Oh, I'm gonna kill 2 buns with 1 hash." Like, no, you're not gonna kill a bun. Don't say that. Like,
no,
we have so much power on things that we say.
Yes, right.
And we don't have the awareness sometimes. Like, oops.
My dad says, right, he goes, "Oh, I'm getting old now. I can't." Dad, stop saying that, because your subconscious is going to make that happen. Listen to this little story, right? Something to do with sex. But I was on the Eurostar and I left my door keys for this house and I left the door keys for my dad's house on the train. I was like, oh my God, right?
Wow.
So I had to log the fact that I lost my keys. But from that moment onwards, in my head, imagined I was going to go and get my keys, sign for my keys, and I was going to get them in my hand. And I was going to open my front door with my keys, right? And I imagined it. I kept imagining it. I left one day. I did all the recording of the lost property. And then the next day, I went to Eurostar. And on the train, I wrote a little note. Where's my notebook? I wrote a note of my steps as I got to. So my steps was getting off the train, going to speak to someone to find out where the lost property is. Then I would go to lost property, give the man my paperwork to show what my log number is for the lost property. Then he would go away and have a look on the system, and then he'd go and find my keys. Then I'd say, there are my keys. That's my key, right? And then I'd say, he'd ask my IDs, and I had to do ID. Gave me ID, and then he would ask me to sign for it. Then he'd give me my keys. And you know what? Every single thing that I wrote down happened, except for one thing. I had to pay to have my keys back, but that was it.
Amazing.
So the power of the mind, Beatrice. Nobody has a single idea of how powerful us beings are on this planet.
Wow. I am now. I want a boyfriend like Tor, the Chris Worthwood.
You've got to think of your end result. That's what you've got to think of. Your end result. My end result is being happy. And you imagine yourself with your partner, mucking about, going on holiday, going for a meal. You imagine every single. I've got my partner now, but I still imagine things that I want to happen in our relationship, how to improve our relationship. How many have I got now? I've got my spreadsheet with all my visions on it. I've got, I don't know how many visions I've got now. How many have I got? I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, where's it going to open? I've got 3 screens here. That one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 visions of how I want my life to be. And I focus on every single morning. There are other women that come on. We go on to FaceTime. We put it on mute. We work for half an hour. Then we go, time up, see you tomorrow. And we go. So we're just all there accountable. And I, like, for example, the one for my home, right? My one for my home is where is it? Oh, here we are. Where's my home gone? House. Oh, here. Our self-sufficient chalet has an abundance of love inside and out with all we want and need. And that particular day, I said, today I'm digging out the garden for my vegetables. I plant potatoes, onions, tomatoes, runner beans, carrots, parsnips, peas, lettuces, garlic, radish, broccoli, courgettes, and cabbage and herbs.
That's so it's all the details that matter, right? It's not just like I want a garden. No, but what you want in the garden.
That's why your list, when you're reading it to your mum, that's why it was important. You're very specific. My list is very specific. It's really, really important to be specific. Like the other one, so seeing my perfect body every day spurs me on to keep working on my superbly fit body with radiantly sun-kissed skin. That day, I say, I visualize my perfect body every day. I stop eating shit and my stomach recovers. I get bloated stomach. I sleep better and have more energy. I want to get up early and go to the gym every day. So that's my
Amazing.
life. That's how it's going to be every day.
Amazing. And it takes a lot of discipline too, right? I remember,
Be accountable.
yeah, I remember before I started the podcast, I planned the podcast 3 years ago. And I was like, always, even during pandemic, I have time, but I always like procrastinating. But why I was procrastinating? Because I had let all the negative thoughts come to my head. And when we do that, the fear control us and make us frozen. And the negative thoughts was like, oh, but people are going to criticize, or what if this doesn't work? Who's going to help me with the editing? Who's like, all those thoughts? And I'm like, I felt
it's the wanting, the needing to know that stops people doing whatever they want in their lives. We have to let go of the wanting to know how. It just, synchronicity happens by itself. You know, what happened with my keys, that was synchronicity working for me, made me find. I knew in my heart I'd find those keys because someone's going to find them. There's not my address on it. They're not going to come and steal my stuff from my house. I knew that they would be. And in fact, I once thought I lost my suitcase, but nobody steals any suitcases on that train. Nobody ever does. And I knew that my keys would not be stolen. They'd be handed in.
It's amazing. Amazing. I love it.
And you've got to believe it too. You've got to believe it like you're already there. Your imagination has to make you think, I have all. You have to, like, there's this book, right? Let me show you this book. How about you can see it properly here? Letters to the Universe. You just write to the universe. You say,
who is the writer, like the author of this book?
Oh no, Roulage, it says there. Yeah. Kesley Ada Roulage. Whoop, hold on. There we are. Ooh, there we are. Kesley, Kelsey, Ada, Aida, Roulage. Roulage.
I'm definitely gonna read that. I love to read.
Yeah, you find it on Amazon. That's where I got mine. But it's more of a workbook. You write down letters to the universe. You say brainstorming questions. What do I want to manifest? Why do I want it? What can I start doing now to help cultivate this feeling in the present? What am I going to do to stop doing or letting go to help me get to my dream as a reality?
I have one here that I also wanted to refer, is the 52 list of for happiness.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's written by Maurice Seal. So this is a really good book, workshop kind of to ourselves.
What's the name?
Morea, Moorea. Oh,
Morea. Gosh, that's
Moo, like it's 2O.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah, Seal.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna definitely one day bring her to the show and have her do like a little. Yeah, because I think it's so important that women, like they say that we are free in the world today and we are like, have a more power or whatever. I don't feel like that. I feel the world is still a lot of like the men's world.
It is.
I love you guys, the man, that is listening to this. I have not like, it's not a attack to men, to the gender of men. I just wanted to disclaim that. It's just that I wanted to, men that listen to, is to help women to empower themselves more, is to help us instead of to shut us up, to put ourselves down, is to allow us to become better, to deal with like having a healthier relationship with each other. I think when we give up on power, it's the most beautiful thing. Like I went through this phase of my life that I felt that I have to have control in every single thing I did in my life, just because I was being hurt so much and I have to control everything I was doing. And once you are in this stage of mind, you don't live well. Like I was not living well. I was not being happy. And I was like, my goodness, what can I do to just, the day that I decide to let it go and to give up on power, to give up on the controlling aspect of me and say, you know what? I don't want to control this. I let it just be, you know.
Yeah.
It was the most releasing feeling that I could have, and I felt so much more fulfillment to, you know, release the control and say, okay, I can't do this. It's out of my control. I cannot control other people's actions. I cannot control how my boyfriend gonna react to this.
Yeah.
Just, you know, drop it. So yeah, and that just for say that that's my personal opinion, and just just to let a man know it's not a personal attack to them. It's just my own personal opinion. So by saying that, I just wanted to wrap it up by saying thank you so much for you to being here today.
Thank you for asking me, Beatrice. I've loved every moment of it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, when we chat, it's like time goes so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to really thank you for being you. Like, really, it's a very vulnerable thing for us to do, to be genuinely and show us and inspire everybody, you know, because you, by being you and share all the things that you share today, I'm pretty sure it's going to inspire a lot of people. And I feel so honored by having you here today. And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. If anything we've said helps anyone, then that's my main aim, is to help people. And if that's what we've done, then that's great. If it breaks them through one particular barrier and helps them to go to another, then that's brilliant. If anyone wants to contact me, then everyone's very welcome to contact me. Even come through you if they want to.
Absolutely, yes. And that's where I'm going to also ask you guys to go hit and subscribe, because that allows us to continue doing the work we're doing. It shows YouTube, it shows Instagram, all the platforms say, wow, this content has been helping people, you know, they want more. And I will come back here with Caroline.
Yeah, we've got loads more to talk about, definitely. There's loads of subjects we can talk about. In fact, if you just go on TikTok and have a look at what I talk about, pick on one of those subjects and I'll come back and I'll talk about it.
Absolutely. I'd love to have you back. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.